Okay, so my Kuretake Zig cartooning pens came in the mail. They're smudge proof with watercolors or alcohol based markers, and I got them mostly for the alcohol based markers, so I'm excited for that. I sent back my microns because they were smudging, and the thing is, you could tell most of all when it came to white paper. So we're gonna try this on both my sketchbook paper as well as white paper and see how it works. Now, automatically it comes in 3 sizes. It has the 08, the 05, and the 01. Oh, it says keep horizontal. That's good to know. And in terms of the millimeter, it kind of just says the tip. I'm going to try them out in real time. So we have this picture of Dr. Stone. It's based off of this one. It didn't come out exactly as I wanted it to, but we're doing this for the ink and not for the mastery of art. And so this is the 01 point. I'm gonna try it. It's very, very fine tip. Really, really fine. So I'll try it for the line of the nose. Yeah, it's super fine tip. And it goes on smooth. It's pretty easy to use, to be honest. And so this is great for fine lines. And if you press down, like for example, I'll press down here for the line, you get a thicker line, but it's not that thick. So, but you can still press down with it to get a slightly bolder line than these tiny, tiny lines right here. So that's good to know. That was a little shaky on my part. So that's the 0.1 tip. Now for the 0.5 tip, I'm gonna go over the lines of the eyes, and it's not as thick as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty good. It's like a medium point, not super fine, but not super bold either. I guess it's kind of similar to the point, I guess the 0.5 of the micron, I suppose. This is where the highlight is gonna go, so I'm gonna leave this blank. If we travel down here, there's some bolder lines with the ear. I'm excited. I really hope that it holds up well against the Copics. I saw a line test. I saw a few videos on YouTube before ordering it, which is in hindsight what I should have done or could have done before ordering the microns, but I had tried them on my own and they were pretty good, at least so I thought. And you can still get some fine lines depending on how hard or heavy you press down, which is good. So right now I'm pressing down quite a bit, which is why it's a thicker line, whereas if I let up and just, for example, here you have some smaller lines. Let me see if you can see. I'll zoom in again as I do this next line right here. It's pretty light. Okay. And then for the line of the lip, so if I go lightly, that's another thing too. When I go lightly, it shakes. So I have to try and have a steady hand. Well, I'm just gonna consider that a wash. And the forehead. Now it begs to wonder, what am I gonna do with the 0.8 now? Maybe I'll do the hair. Yeah, I'll do the hair. There's also the eyebrow. And that's the thing, I'm trying to be able to do this without such a shaky hand. This is the 08 with the biggest tip. It is the bold tip. And even though in the references all of these lines are finer, I'm gonna do it thicker with this one. But if I go lightly, as you can see here, you can still get some fine lines. So you have these two loose hanging. And on the other side, We're just gonna extend it. This is where the picture ends. Oh, I wish I had extended it that way. Yeah, that way. Because that would have been better. This forehead is a little bit too big now, but we're just gonna leave it. If things go out the way I think it is, because this is also the same notebook where I had the ink spill, and I had another one, this one that's smudged, but that's smudged. So this is my third attempt at getting something, and I think it'll be good. It won't smudge, but the art isn't to the standard I want it to be. So we'll have to try yet again to get a picture of Dr. Stone that is both art worthy and does not smudge, but one step at a time. At least it doesn't smudge, and so I'll be happy with that. So here's a size comparison. This is the 8, the 5, and the 1. One thing I noticed that you have to let it have a little bit of time to set before you erase it. This part I had put on immediately and then erased, and it lifted, whereas the rest of the whole picture is fine because I had a few seconds to set after I put the ink down. And now we're gonna go into the marker test. So we're gonna have this YG91, the color putty. I'm just gonna go ham and just go really, I'm not actually gonna do this to scale in terms of color, which makes no sense. Why go through all this if I decided last minute that I'm not gonna actually color it? I don't know. But we're gonna go with the ear, and we're just gonna color through all of it. And it's holding up well. Even the part that lifted, I can color through the lines and nothing smudges. Now that's awesome. What if I just keep going back and forth on the same spot? Will it smudge? No, it doesn't smudge. Maybe slightly, you can tell right here, but that's after going back and forth many times. Actually, let's count it, right? If I go back and forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, around 30 swipes, it starts to smudge. That's pretty good. So if I tried it again, you start seeing some variation. But this is also with the color putty. It's not as light as it would be. So if I get a really light color, let's compare it to that R00, which is pinkish white. So now it starts to smudge a little bit. How many times was that? Maybe here, this one was fully dried. So it doesn't, is it alcohol proof? Fully. This is just like my microns. Am I doing something incorrect? Maybe if it's smudging, but it didn't smudge as much with the putty. Why? Well, I guess right here you can say it smudged a lot. If this hair part, what if we go like this? Okay, so it didn't, that's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5. But this is going in the direction of the swipe. So if I go in the direction of the swipe, there are no problems. If I go perpendicular, that's when the problems arise. Oh my goodness, it's smudging so badly. This is not, so if I go this way, it doesn't matter how many times I go over it if I go parallel. Okay, not necessarily. Is this even the one that I thought? I thought this was the one that was, it says alcohol marker proof, right? Let me go back on the box. It says smudge proof with watercolors or alcohol based markers. What is this? Smudge proof with alcohol. What? Smudge proof with what? Okay, maybe I should let it set for a long time versus just a few moments. I did the nose first, right? This is one of the areas I did first. And it smudges. Ever so slight, but it's still there. Also, I don't understand what's going on with this paper. This paper kind of just becomes see-through the minute I have too much ink on it. So is it the paper? This is not Bristol paper. This is my mixed media So it's meant for watercolor. So it's not Bristol paper. I think one of the things I need to get is Bristol paper, actual or marker pads, because this is not working out. It's smudging. Did I send my microns back for no reason? Let me try maybe a yellow. Okay, so we have light reddish yellow, which is YR31. We'll try it in the direction of the pen. Right, we're gonna go with the pen. So this is only a few times and it's going well. Not too many layers of ink, and it's going fairly well, right? It looks like it's pretty marker proof. Now if we go to this right here and we try many layers, it's when we start to build. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After the 5th time, this one was after the first time. Let's just wipe it off the excess. So going in and you building on top, it's not going back and forth, which is how I like the color. So if I were to go, oh, this is also perpendicular, so let me stop. Right here, if we got 1, 2, 3, so far so good. I have to ask myself, is this the smudge, or is it going see-through and picking up the smudge of the next page? Because the next page is also this, right? And there's ink. Let's try a new sheet of paper that doesn't have any ink on it. Okay, this is after waiting 8 seconds. We're going to go back in with our YR31. We're using the brush tip instead of the other one. And it still smudges. Maybe, I wonder if it's the paper versus the actual ink. So I have a few sheets of watercolor paper. That's what I would use it on anyway. So I have this watercolor. And also I used it with the smallest one. So I was using number 1 when I was doing this. So if I take the number 1 and I just draw a triangle on here, series of triangles. Okay, that just looks like the letter D, but it doesn't matter. So I believe this one was the first triangle that we did. If I go along with it, it looks like it's fine, and I color the middle. If I do this next triangle and I follow the direction of it, it seems fine. So now we're gonna try and just color perpendicular to it. There's only one smudge right here. Likewise, there are no smudges here. And if I go a second layer, there are still no smudges. If I go a third layer, and this is going back and forth, right? There's still no smudges. If I go a fourth layer, there's still no smudges. Okay, so that gives me some hope in these pens. It might have to do with the paper more than the ink itself. And these ones in the bottom, this will be very, very last because I know I did that last. So let's try this one, coloring perpendicular. It's fine. Okay, what if I go like this? It's fine. It's better on watercolor paper. So I imagine with Bristol paper, it'll be good too, which is good because I said I was going to do this last. I didn't. I think the lesson here is that paper has as much to do with the pen than anything else, because none of the problems that I had before occur here. So I know I can use this on watercolor, which is good. I'm trying to transition out of watercolor and into another like type of paper, just because this paper soaks up a lot of ink. But so far, this one has the most layers, and you can tell that it's okay. Now if I were to go back over wet surface, like I used to use my microns over Copics to do final touches, it holds up pretty well. right here you can see it's really good. Let's go right here so you can tell right away. No smudging, no fraying. Anything that you see here is just me having a shaky hand. So that's good. Okay. This is good. This is very good.